Hi there, and welcome back to another typical T relaxing long play. Last time we assessed our priorities, continued to fight in defense of our land, devised a new fortress and assembled our first garrison force. Today we expand to new regions and take out our first AI opponent. Without further ado, grab a drink, make yourself comfortable and relax alongside me in Manor Lords. First thing I'm thinking I want to do is let's get down an additional trading post, because we have two trading posts here. There's one here and there's one up here, and we can see everyone, all our horses are busy carrying riders, and yet when we go to trade and we look at our salt stockpile, we can see that we've got 2060 sat around. We only want a surplus of 40, so we're definitely not exporting as much salt as we could be. So let's go ahead and find a spot to put down an additional trading post and hire in some more horses. So we're going to want to be somewhere relatively near the King's Road, but also near our storage supplies. Obviously at the moment we've got one here and one here. So let's have a look. We have the main roads actually up here as well, but it does cross down here. So let's go ahead and put a new trading post right there, like so, and we'll let them get to work with building that one. We'll just check there's nothing else that can be upgraded over here. Yep, we've got a house ready for upgrading, so we're going to upgrade that. And we are at +2 monthly migration, so I don't really want to tip under that 80% approval, but at the same time I would like to increase taxation a little bit so we can start to get more money into our coffers to support our standing army, and also to enable us to hire in more people as and when. So let's go to taxes, and why don't we have a look what happens if we move that to 7%. If it wants to let me do it. Okay, 7% minus 5, that's only one up. In fact, let's maybe even, let's be cheeky, let's go for 8%. Ooh. Naughty. Okay. I'd also like to start taxing depart more, but at the moment we are just still trying to build up that stone stockpile so we can eventually construct our castle over here. And to do that, we've set our trading point for stone to be a surplus of 900, and we're only at 558 of that at the moment, so it's going to be a little while until we're exporting stone again. We've got a new granary and storehouse being constructed over here, which is going to be servicing our new orchards, which we've placed over here. And that's part of the workforce that's going to allow us to reforest this area here more effectively. The stone pits are obviously something we want to fill up as well. So really we do need to be increasing our population here in Depart. We're at 76% approval, so we're not terribly far off that additional migration. In fact, it does say +2 monthly migration there already. I thought that 80% was the limit. Okay. Well, I'm not going to complain if I can get out of the menus, that is. In that case, well, I have noticed that we can actually upgrade our churches down here. Embarrassingly, is not something we've gotten around to doing. We probably shouldn't do both at the same time, because we only have 2 families free, so I'm just going to leave that one to be constructed for the time being, and we'll allow those 3 families to start constructing that. I wonder if we filled our properties over here now. So we've got 2 of 2 there, 2 of 2 here, 2 of 2, oh, very unwell. Okay, so we have filled up our new properties over at Newboatlandia and Depart. So it might be time to consider adding a few extra ones on, although I do think the market, granary supply is a little bit stretched here, so we are going to want to get an additional family working there. That means our available living space at the moment is over here, which is okay because that's where we've got our orchards. So as soon as families start moving here, they can plant up, and then we'll expand that living space to again increase the working population over here in this area. And then what I think we'll do is we'll almost put a point on the end here of Newboatlandia. And we'll extend this off down here some ways. And I think what we'll do is we'll just put some dense accommodation on either side of that road. once we have a few more people available, and that will provide the additional people we need over in this area to cope with the iron mine and also to help with construction with the manor when we get there. So really at the moment in D-Part it's a case of letting things tick along. Up here in the capital we've got that new trading post constructed, so let's go and get a horse ordered straight away and let's assign a couple of families to work there. And hopefully that'll help us start to export some of that stockpile of salt that we have, because we're certainly producing enough of it with what we have down here. As we come into March we might need to consider some reassignments unless we've already got people in the farms. And actually we do have a full farmhouse down there, and we have got a full one up here, and it is nice to be able to move people around from farmhouses season to season, because it is more efficient that way. But at the same time I'm a little bit sick of constantly having to reassign people to farms come certain times of year, so if we can get away with leaving those people in the farms, then that's definitely going to be my preference. I'm starting to think as well that I would quite like to settle a new region. Now at the moment we've got the capital up here and we've got D-Part running through the middle here. We probably do have the military might to take on one of our adversaries, and I think that's something we will look to do fairly soon. But I'd also like to settle one of our other regions. We've got Hochweg and we've got Plegnol. Now out of the two, Hochweg up here has got a abundant fish and it's got abundant berries as well. But it doesn't have anything other than that that's going to allow for a large export market. It's also not terribly fertile. Neither of these regions are, unfortunately. But down here we do have a rich clay deposit. So we could quite easily, it's only a small area, but we could potentially build up a little settlement here. We've got wild animals there, teeming deposit of them, so we could get quite a lot of food in from that and from these mushrooms. So fairly easy to sustain ourselves down here, and then we've got access to this clay as well, so we could set up a manufacturing of tiles and export them. We're not terribly far away from our planned central fortress down here in D-Part, but in terms of how far we are from our military, we are well outside of military aid quickly. So indeed, if we are going to settle over here, which I think I'd like to do this March, I think what we need to do is relocate some of our standing army to be a protectorate over that starting settlement, so we don't get a repeat of what we've had previously with bandits coming in, burning down our fresh settlement before we really get established and not being able to re-establish. So to do that, I think we're going to take our heavy archers and our... do I take the swordsman or do I take the spearman? Swords are faster, higher attack, spears are better at defense. I think we'll take the spears, and we'll leave the sword to defend here. So we are going to run them, because they're needed pretty soon actually, and we're going to send them on their merry way as we get our taxes in. And we're going to redeploy our sword here into a shield wall to take the place of the spear. And look at that. Already, the new trading post is spending our money as opposed to buying. They're actually creating us income. But I suppose you win some, you lose some. We'll need to get an additional horse. In fact, what I think I'll do, just to save a bit of time, we do have down here some new hitching posts. And let's get these upgraded to stables. And then let's find our livestock trader, who is definitely... he's here somewhere. And that is about as much as I remember, as far as his location goes. I know that he exists. I don't know where he exists. I don't even know what time he exists in. I'm presuming it's the same time as ours. But, you know, you shouldn't presume too far. Aha! Livestock trading post. So we're going to need 12 horses, because we have 3 trading posts. So we'll set that to 12 so we don't have to constantly buy people in. we'll get another couple of workers there ready at the trading post to make use of that. We'll just check up quickly on Deep Art as well. And it looks like we've got a few properties ready to be upgraded to level 2 burgish plots as people start to move into them, so we shall oblige. Looks like you're missing a little bit in terms of food, but we do have a granary down here. Where do you live? Please tell me you don't live over there. Nope, you live here. That's fine. And ooh, another one ready for upgrade there. And let's have a look at... I was going to look at those families and assign them here, but I can't do that now. Well, we'll just continue that upgrade and we'll worry about that in a rolly mo. Let's get an additional worker at one of those new forester's huts. We're going to want a worker at the foraging hut there. And by golly, we've got no one to work the fisheries. So we are going to have to strip some workers from somewhere. And unfortunately, once again, I think the reality is that we're going to have to strip them from quarries. And I imagine we've got plenty of rough stone. 72, yeah, for our stonemasons to work on for a moment. And let's get a couple of fishermen at each of these huts, and we'll leave the other two for construction. How are we getting on with the new church? 3%, about what we'd expect. And we'll just keep things rolling along. With all that tended to, and with our forces newly arrived, I'm going to go ahead, pause the game, and let's get down Settlers Camp. In terms of where I'm going to put this, we do have the option of some rye pasture here, where we can put a field or two. It is, however, right on top of the mushrooms and right on top of the wild animals, so we're unlikely to do any farming here in reality. We've got plenty of other food sources, so we don't need to worry about that. But how is this settlement going to look? Well, we don't have a very large area. Really, it's a triangle section at the end of this map. And we've got this cliff here, which is rather majestic and magnificent, as it looks out right over the centre of the valley. And you can see our planned fortress here. Now, I was considering potentially building this settlement, completing it, and then putting it inside of a wall, completely encompassing it, which isn't actually too far off achievable, because we can import stone from here. And if we had our settlement kind of centered here, then we could quite easily have a wall that follows the edge of the valley here. Possibly we'll have the clay deposit outside of that, and then wrap around in a circle here. So I'm quite keen to keep this fairly compact if we can. With that in mind, I don't want our settlers camp to be right on top of our starting point, but at the same time, what we could potentially do is plan our starting settlement to be where our church is going to end up. The iron will get rid of fairly quickly if we bother with it at all. So I think our church wants to be fairly central, not too close to here though. So let's go there for a starting settlement. I don't think we need anything more than a modest set of starting resources, because we do have lots of available regional, easily accessible animal deposits. It took a while to get out there, didn't it? I do apologise. Now at the moment we've only got the one road, it's coming up this valley. I'd quite like to come up and around on two sides. So maybe let's take a road from here, and let's follow the contour of the river down along the bank here. And being respectful of the terrain, let's curve up. Tempted actually to come along here a little bit. The thing is, do we want this? Is our wall going to contain our wild animals? Probably not. So let's build to there, and then let's double back on ourselves. as we come up this steep slope. And let's kind of ring the wild animal deposit, so we won't build inside of this road. Set the curvature. Ooh, it's not very curved, is it? Try again. Maybe in smaller increments we'll just place that there. And we'll just work our way around the perimeter of the wild animal node. And that could be quite nice actually, the walls curved overlooking the Manor's hunting grounds, I suppose. Almost completely enclosed. So let's build that to there. And we probably are going to need to make use of this space eventually, so we can kind of lay things out. Maybe even continue this all the way around. We won't necessarily build the wall all the way around there anyway. And then, where does the slope start here? It's kind of, this is kind of the ridge here. So, again, following the terrain, we'll just follow the topography around to here. And then cut back across. And I don't want to get too close to the edge of the map, otherwise it does look like a rather odd place to have a solid wall. You'd expect the settlement to extend over here. So what we might do is kind of gently curve this, and this is kind of giving us an outline for where our wall is eventually going to be. So the wall's probably going to be outside of the road, so underneath here. So I'm actually going to delete this road here, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to have a much smaller return here. And then using this end of the road here, taking a roughly centre point here with our camp and our church. And then come across. Like so. And set the kind of rear curve of the settlement. Did say we're probably not going to come as far as the saw pit, so let's take a gentler curve. Like so. See what that looks like. Ooh. Got an awful little tail going on there. Let's try that again. See what that looks like. So we've got this shape here, and then this coming down across there. And we'll bring that back up and around. Mindful not to take up too much of that clay deposit. And then stay just inside of the rock face until we join back in there, like so. That's going to be our general outline, and I think we're probably going to have to grow the town fairly organically within those limits, and if it needs to be bigger, it needs to be bigger, but I like the idea of keeping a wall around that, so it's something we can at least entertain the idea of. Right, so we're going to need a road servicing all this. Let's outline this space here. We go to our favourite measuring tool, the corpse bit. I think we kind of want the square to be 2 corpse bits wide. It's a standard unit of measurement, in case you're wondering. And about 2 high as well. You can imagine how high that is. And we'll come across there. Like that, and we'll join that road across there. And then delete these corpse bits. How's that looking? Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. And then we'll connect that off to the perimeter road in a couple of locations. It's going to be fairly organic, this, as I said. It's not going to be like a Roman planned city, or even a medieval planned city. Showing off some medieval inspired design of cities is something I would like to do in future, but I'm not thinking about it really for this particular playthrough. Let's assign our forces to watch from here, so they're not in the way. And first things first, I would like to get down our granary and our storehouse. I'm going to put these down here in easy reach of the food source. I might actually have room to build a wall on the outside of this road. In that gap, that might work quite well. But let's not worry about that too much, as I've said. So let's play along. And we're going to set the priority of these to nice and high, so we can get our goods in there before they have the opportunity to become spoiled. And then let's get a log cutter's camp. And this is something that's in the future going to operate outside of the walls, but for the time being, I think we can probably get away with having it inside the walls just for practicality's sake. Although there's a very good chance, as I'm sure you have realised by this point, that I will change my mind on that almost instantly. And indeed I have. So, let's pop this out here. We'll pop a road connecting there. And then we'll pop a road coming around here, which will eventually service that. Oh dear, we're in debt to the king. Ah! We have actually lost one of our mercenary bands. We ran out of dollar. That's very embarrassing. Okay, well, it is what it is. Very tempted to actually get rid of these altogether now. Might be made up for us, our mind, in 7 days. If we can't raise the money. It's unfortunate when the royal tax came in then. Rather irritating. But there's naught we can do about it. Let's speed along time a little bit. Don't think we're going to bring any money some soon, so let's get rid of that. We are rather exposed then with our new settlement. What we're going to do to counter that is we're going to deploy our retinues and we're going to send them over to our new settlement, and they will act as our defense in lieu of the mercenaries that we thought we were going to have. Okay, let's get a family working at the storehouse and the granary. And they're working on construction down there now. Once we've got that in place, we're going to want to start getting some food pretty sharpish, so we're going to put a hunting camp. And we're going to get this right behind the granary. You see the capital, those stables coming together. The rain is coming down, but we are moving the supplies inside as we speak. Let's get an additional hitching post and pop it out by the logging camp. And we're going to use some of our starting capital. And straight away we're going to order another ox. And we're going to relocate this ox over here. And then just as soon as the logging camp has finished construction, let's go ahead and get a couple of families working here. How are we doing in terms of getting goods inside? Just logs left. So we're going to unassign granary and storehouse workers. to free them up for construction. And we need to set a limit for the logging camp. And I'm going to set that over here. And that's just going to protect our wild animal deposit. From being affected. So we'll set that there. I did see rumoured a plan to automatically protect wild animal deposits from being cut down, but I don't think that's been implemented yet. That hedging post has been moved. That one's being constructed. And let's get a third worker at the logging camp. And let's get just the one worker at the hunting camp so we can start to bring in some food. And I'm thinking primarily we're going to have 2 rows on either side of this sort of burgish plots spread it outwise, and then maybe some denser ones in here. These perhaps fruit trees, these vegetable plots, those vegetable plots, these vegetable plots, and these specialists potentially. Then we have a little bit of income coming in from our other regions. How are we doing for Dressstone Depart 666? That's an unfortunate time to look, wasn't it? Let's get an additional family working at the farmhouse. And otherwise, we're just going to try and build up our labour force over here. Let's get a couple of buildings upgraded, and we'll activate that storehouse there as well. Treasure's progressed to massive 7%. Over in the capital, we've still got plenty of housing available. Haven't got all of those horses in yet. We will order one manually just in case. And how are we doing here in terms of exporting? 4,900 from salt. Be nice to see. Yeah, we haven't. How much money we've made from this trading post alone. Not sure we can check, but we can see our 1 horse is out carrying a ride. I mean, they're going to be fairly useless until they've got all their horses, to be honest. There's not too much we can do about that for the moment. How are we doing with this? Wow, massively oversubscribed. Let's get a few extra families working at each of these locations so we can ease that. There are a lot of properties down here relying on them. Travel all the way over to Klein Knoll. Let's check how we're getting on. We have 14 timber available to us. So let's go ahead and get our first dwellings set up. So we're going to come along this road, and I think we'll just fill this space here. Maybe we'll come off the end there slightly, just to have slightly more symmetrical plots. That looks nice. Just so they line up a little bit better with the road. And let's make these space for 2 families to live in each. Now we'll go ahead and pop those down. And that's going to be a good starting point for us down here. They're obviously going to need some amenities. It's annoying we can't put a well down here in the centre. But let's get one down on the corner here. And actually, leaving off that spot on the end is perfect because we can get one there as well. Might even delete that one for a moment, because that one's a lot closer to our residential area. And let's assign a little bit of space to our market. Now let's look, where exactly are we going to end up having our church? Probably not dead center. So we have got about a third of the space available to us, with which we can put our market in. So let's come down as far as there. But that's good. That's going to be plenty. Right, that's our market. Those are our properties. Let's free up a family to help with construction. And we're going to have some food coming in. We've still got some lumber coming in. All round, it's a decent start here in Klein Knoll. Depart. Down to one available living space. So let's get on down to our new dwellings here. And double up the space available within them. Just check on this marketplace. Do with another family working in the granary down here. And we'll upgrade and then expand afterwards. We still have got one property here that's not been moved into as well. That's going to deal with our expansion. Up in the capital, plenty of living space still. How's this market doing now? Still massively oversubscribed. Assume that means we've got 10 families reliant on it. Again, similar problem over here. How about our markets down here? Yeah, looks like they're struggling a little bit everywhere. So I think employing some additional workers in granaries and storehouses across our settlement here isn't going to be a terribly bad idea. Get an additional worker at that granary. Well, tax goes up again. It's no fun at all. We'll get another family at this granary. And we're going to have to wait for a few more people to move in before we continue expanding those much farther. Hopefully we're still doing a good job of deploying gambesons and helmets. Yeah, it looks like helmets are almost full on the Depart militia, and we've got plenty of crossbows as well. In fact, I was thinking of replacing our archers with crossbowmen and having an additional unit of spear to replace the footmen. How many spare crossbows? We've got 20. Once we've got enough, I might switch them over. So something to keep an eye on. A couple of extra food stalls going up in the capital. Hopefully as well we're starting to address the clothing problem. So it looks like we are turning all of our wool into yarn. It is all being turned into clothes at a fairly steady rate. Houses are going up in Klein Knoll. Not much more we can do to be pushing this on much faster, although what I am going to do briefly, let's free up those families from the logging camp altogether and get them working on construction. Our defensive retinues here, ready to aid. Should defense of our latest settled acquisition be required. Certainly not having any problem with the food situation over here. What are we bringing in? Small game. Plenty of it for the moment. We've also got pelts, which we can be selling just as soon as we set up a trade post. That's right, I have indeed learned. I shall endeavour not to make that a mistake again, sir. The astute commenter who pointed that out to me. So those houses are popping up nicely. Get those last couple of ones up and we'll get them expanded, and then we'll start popping people into some other roles that'll keep them happy and help with people moving in. Now I say with some trepidation, it feels like it has been a little while since I've been attacked. I'm always expecting, now I've said that we will be swept away by some AI horde that decides we haven't been attacked enough recently. Hoping it's not going to be the case, but you never know. Line null is upgraded. It's fantastic. Got the well under construction. Let's up the priority of that. We do want water. And then let's expand the living space straight away on these burgish plots. And what origin are we going to go for here in Clone Knoll? So we've got a great clay deposit. Got great wild animals. So we've got Bangberg smallholders, which is pretty much the best start at the moment anyway. Got upgraded small holdings. Increased approval. Better tree planting. What else do we have? So numerous mines. Well, we're only going to have the one deep mine, so I'm not too worried about that. Efficient hunting camps would be a good one. Born of the Alps. We probably are going to have sheep. Trade routes are more costly, is not fun. The hunting hound, I think, is nice. Increased export on minor trades. Increased, yeah. So that will benefit us in the mushrooms as well. I think we'll do that. The of the Voxland. Yes, we'll go for that. That's going to increase the capacity of our mushrooms, and it's going to enable our hunting camp to have hounds. We'll go ahead and purchase that right away. And just as soon as some of these constructions are upgraded, speed time along a little bit. Then we'll get some workers, families working in the granary and storehouse, so we can start supplying food from the marketplace. And we'll want to get a trading post set up to sell pelts fairly quickly, and also a tannery to start making leather for boots. And we'll also obviously want to get more oxen. Because oxen are what make the world go round. Let's get a family working back at the logging camp while we're doing this. And actually we have plenty of available living space, so we're going to go ahead and get a worker at the granary so we can start distributing some food. And we'll leave it as such for the time being. Depart, depart, depart. 791 dressed stone. Ooh. We have the resources to commit to our rather ambitious and beautiful castle, but we do not have the labour force. We've still got 3 available living spaces. I take it that means we have mostly filled these. 1 family. 1 of 2. 2 of 2, so some are 2 of 2, so those available 3 are here. So that's going to give us 4 living spaces over here in total, maybe 5. And let's get, what have we got? So we've got apples, quinces, pears, apples, pears, quinces. What are we lacking most? All of them. Wonderful. Well, in that case, let's go for apples. And then we'll upgrade the living space there as well. Let's get a 3rd forester going. Look okay for food, look okay for fuel. We're bringing in fish, which is good. Have we finished the construction of the church? We have. That's great. So we've got a garment and produce problem over here. Garments will hopefully be taken care of over time because we have got sheep give us some more pasture space probably as well. That's easily done. Let's just pop some behind here. Maybe a bit more over here as well. Making use of that space up to the river. And sheep farm, how are we doing here? Spending a little bit of time waiting, so hopefully we have enough families to work that for the moment. We can, however, look to start building some new properties, so I want these to be fairly dense. Large enough to have an extension, but they don't need to be much more than that. Put a row there. Potentially. Something about that it didn't like. Let's come off the end of that road. That wasn't the issue. Where we started. How bizarre. This side's fine. Guess we'll start this side. Do we make these double? Lose 3. Gain 7. That gives us 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That gives us 10. So we are better off having the double living space. So we'll commit to that there. Will it let us build on the other side now? What if we don't snap to a road and we come off ever so slightly? Yeah, okay, we are going to be able to do it. It's just being a little bit odd about it. So that's going to cater to some additional living space over here, more than a little bit actually. It's probably as much as we already have in New Boatlandia. Still plenty of space for people to be moving in here. Got a nice level 3 burgage plots over there. Got our farms at work down here. Got a few people moving in. Regional wealth, not too bad. Imports, exports. Up to 5,000 on the salt. What's our stockpile looking like? So in terms of salt, 3,000 now. Still only got 2 horses here. Put another one in manually. We can see though that they are carrying riders, so they are off trading at the very least. It just seems that we are struggling to export the sheer quantity of salt that we're producing. But I suppose that shouldn't be surprising, given that we are gamers. Salt is one of our key exports. Speed time along a little bit. Get these extensions done. If those 2 families ever want to finish them. So we can get someone working at the storehouse. We've got plenty of available living space, we just need to get back up into a positive enough approval so that we can get some people keen to move in. We're going to work at the storehouse. Somehow the well hasn't been constructed yet, which is amazing. Don't know why we haven't built it. Struggling a little bit on food. Oh, and there we have. I knew it was too calm and too quiet. The part is being claimed. Is that Peter? Grethlin. Not cool, Grethlin. Not cool. I think that they may have to pay for their hubris with their lives. Okay, so I don't know why that hasn't been constructed yet.
Bread,
We have had a family move in, so I'm going to get a second family working at the hunting camp. Because without that, we are going to struggle for food. Fuel is 1 month, but we're a little bit away from needing it. I'm going to, however, get construction going on the Woodcutter's Lodge so it is ready when we need it. We have our retinues here. How are we doing in terms of finances? We've got some dollar. And fairly well equipped. I think we can try fighting with this force. So let's hire in some mercs. Huntsmen are 250 a month. That is very expensive. I don't think we can afford that. I mean, we can. 250 days left until we're taxed. We've 907 in the treasury. 2 months of hire P5. We're going to do it. Only because I don't want the enemy to have them. And we're also going to get the Battle Brothers. And we'll leave the Brotherhood of the Forest to whoever wants to pick them up. And these very expensive boys. We're going to march them down. And we're going to rally our forces down here. We're going to avoid starting the conflict before we have to. But rest assured we will be challenging their claim on our territory. And we're going to mobilise our entire army. Brethlin is not going to know what's hit her, because I think just as soon as we're done with her fruitless claim on our lands, we're going to march and take her own region from her. So that she cannot consider attacking us again. For that purpose, we are going to pull our retinue from Kleine Null. And the well has finally been constructed. People are happy that they have water. Not a surprising thing. We would have thought it would be a fairly basic necessity. And houses are going up in Deep Heart. We're probably getting to the point now, we're very near that 900 surplus we wanted for dressed stone. Which means soon we're going to be exporting dressed stone once again, which is going to help with our income. We might want to consider if there's anything else as well we can be exporting from Clendol. Not from Clendol, sorry, from Deep Heart. Potentially shoes could be something. We've got quite a lot of shoes. Keep an eye on that. Let's go over and let's... In fact, I say shoes. Should be crossbows. We're going to set up a trade to export crossbows. We want a surplus of 60. Anything over that, we're going to export. Is anything holding up our crossbow production? No, we've got iron parts. So that's not too much of an issue. We're going to fight that. And the battleground right down here in the centre. You can go away. Let's rally our forces near what will be, in the future, a military stronghold. Let's bring in our militia from the capital. Banners waving. Now we don't want anyone rushing too much, they can rest to an extent. We can see down here, with troops coming down off the hills as well, our forces start to rally. Don't think the enemy has shown any troops to us yet. So we will just assemble our forces. This might be a good time to up taxation to account for the fact that we are in fact going to be struggling to maintain some of these troops that we've hired. And we have an enemy unit spotted. Where are they? Oh, we've got a couple up here. Those mercenaries we didn't want to hire for ourselves. Doesn't look like any domestic forces have been raised against us. Move those troops into position as well. Oh, we don't have enough stable space. Let's build some more stables then. Fairly simple solution. Build these on this slope here. Got plenty of people working that hunting camp. Let's continue to get a few more people working it in these storehouses and the granaries. Still going to be a minute till we need to worry about building any additional housing here. Capital is ticking along quite nicely. Loads of wool. We do need to get more people working in the weavers' workshops then. To that end, let's build another weaver's workshop. And that may enable us to start to get an export on clothing. We've got 120 sat around. Let's pause for a minute actually and take care of this. So we're going to want to get another weaver's workshop. We're going to pop that down next to our trading post. And we're going to go to trade. We may already be exporting clothes. Yeah, we are. Exporting over 120, so actually we're at 120, so we could do with making more. Have we got an export on shoes? Nope. Ooh, that's pricey. See, I'd love to open up and export on them, but I don't think our limit at the moment is export value. I mean, they are going to be worth a lot more than salt, but we've got so much salt that needs exporting. I'd rather just open up another trading post, to be honest, so we'll wait on that for a moment. See, we are rallying our forces. We've got enemies coming in from this direction. So why don't we meet them at the river? Let's arrange our archers here. Fire at will. And then let's arrange our spear in front of them. And then we'll have everyone else arranged in reserve. And we'll just move into position. And hopefully that'll allow us to take them on across the river. Someone needs to do some maintenance on that bridge, I'm telling you. It's not very well looked after. Depending on how we're doing... Still just his units. Depending on how we're doing here with meats, I'm considering... Yeah, some pork, some chevron. It might be a good idea here to get these having some extensions for pigs, etc. Let's have a look at our rather mighty force moving into position. That is a lot of soldiers. Our banner flies high above them. These are our particularly expensive mercenaries. Crossbowmen, costing us a large fortune every month. We also have our own crossbowmen. We have our own archers as well. We're going to make Grethlin regret her decisions. We are no easy meat for the taking. Army's moving down into place. Let's hurry things along with our archers. Do the same with our spear. Probably should be putting our mercenaries in the first line of fire here, but to be honest, we're so overwhelming against these enemies here. I'm not sure they're going to get many volleys off before we take them out. And the battle begins. There the enemies are. Emerging out of the forest. Arriving ready for their slaughter. We're going to assemble them in shield wall configurations. We're going to move our archers forward and tell them to spread out. And let's start by eviscerating the brigands. Ugh. It says accidentally moving troops who didn't mean to. Let's keep you here. Right, we'll just let you fire at will. Okay, quite keen to observe this from down here. Arrows are flying off. Last of our shield wall is making its way into position. Look at those arrows. I would not want to be attacking this position. Let's take a quick look. Oh, they look like they're getting absolutely pummeled. Let's move. Oh, they've been broken already. No need to move to defend the flank. Let's take our archers. And we're going to attack straight away. And we're going to advance our infantry. 35, 34. Just a missile war. They are taking a near constant stream of arrows from our men. There must be half of them dead already. 13, 10, and they'll be breaking shortly. Down to their last 9. We've yet to lose a man. Last couple of volleys. And they're gone. And we've won the battle for Depart. What we've also won is the right to bury a lot of people. So, the nearest corpse pit is all the way over here, so we're definitely going to need to build one that is more local. Let's put this right next to where they're going to need to be. Now, here's the quandary. We could use our amassed army and see about taking on one of the other AI, or even going for Grethlin. But we only have 600 in the treasury. It's crossing on a 250 a month. But, you know what, the roll taxes are going to get more expensive. Let's assemble our forces. So let's have spear. I'll take them out of shield wall. Let's have spear. Let's get our archers. And let's get our sword. And our heavy infantry. Let's assemble them. And I think we're going to push a claim. As we shoot the last couple of stragglers. This trader must be wondering what he's walked across. So those are all our forces starting to move to position. Depart's actually got 8 unassigned families. What a rare thing to happen. Well, once the corpse bit's built, they'll definitely have something to be doing, as well as building these new properties down here. How are we doing over here? Let's get another family working in the foresters' huts, because we're running out of trees. Fortunately, we have started planting new ones. Let's get an ox and upgrade these to stables from their hitching posts. And let's grow some quinces here. Let's upgrade that to a stone church. No, it's dropped that down to +1 monthly migration, unfortunately. Might be worth coming off the old taxation a little bit. As much as that galls. Let's get an additional worker at the trade post. And let's check. Let's get some trade on shoes. Export everything above 60. Going to be a nice source of income for us here. Over in capital, things are pretty much progressing as we expected. Weaver's workshop isn't constructed yet. We'll leave things as they are. Over in Lino, food's okay. We do need to get the woodcutter's lodge operational. And we want to get a trading post constructed here as soon as possible as well. I still haven't really acclimatized to the new icons. It's been a while, but I'm not quite there. Let's put the trading post external to our main road. Maybe down here. About like that. And let's connect down to the King's Road here. And we've got a little bit of available living space. We've got 18 timber, so we might as well start thinking about constructing on the other side here. And yeah, let's fill out the space. I'll make these doubles, and those are going to be farms. Grand. Now, let's see about pushing a claim, shall we? Claim with influence. It's ours. What you gonna do about it? We have a larger military force ready to deal with your complaints, which I think we're going to assemble on the plateau. We're not going to run them. Yep, that's where the battle is going to be taking place. I could almost wish that I had moved my army onto the high ground before declaring war. But it is what it is. Naught to be done about it now. This plateau will be where we look to fight, I think. I don't really want to be marching up here when an enemy force appears. Nothing available for mercenaries at the moment anyway. So we move our troops into position. We probably want to defend this ridge here. Enemy units, right. Right, what have we got? We have every available mercenary from the last rotation. Yep. So, 2 brigands, 3 sword, a brigand and a missile. We're caught in between them, but I'm not concerned about this. What I'll probably do is deploy our retinues as a rear guard possibly with 1 unit of archer. And I will deploy the rest here to fight the oncoming enemy. Let's see what route they're taking. Almost direct over here. So maybe me plan to come down here. Well, I don't want to be engaging them here because that is leaving our rear open. So let's take our spear. And we're going to deploy them here. In shield wall configurations. Assume that's the same enemy units. Yep. And we need to get a few families working over here at this corpse pit. Let's make that a higher priority. People don't like to have corpses lying around the place. And you know what? Who can blame them? I'm not sure that I would want corpses around stinking up the joint either. Nice when all these orchards are producing us fruit for depart. And soon we'll probably have people moving into these here. How are we doing in terms of stable space over here? Doesn't look like we've got loads, so what I'm going to do is hop onto the old stabling jobby. Let's get 3 hitching posts there. Another 2 there. And we'll make those into stables in good time. Going to deploy our retinue up to this forest for the moment. Now let's take our sword. They're going to be our reactionary force. Crossbows and bows are going to support the spear. And we'll just keep an eye on their movements. It looks like they are heading up across the top here. I have noticed that Grethlin doesn't have a domestic force, which is something we did notice. We were quite surprised at how large Hermann's domestic military was. But it doesn't look like that's something Grethlin has been able to match. Geographically wise, Grethlin is a very easily defensible town. But she's neglected to build any sort of fortification. Our spear slowly moving into position. In fact, looking at how the terrain is here, is that too far forward? No, it's at the base of the slope. I'm quite happy with that. Deploy them here. Doesn't look like they're going to come from that direction, though, potentially. We do have an enemy force moving in. They're quite a long way away, though. I don't think we need to worry about them imminently. We'll have to wait and see what they do, because they may need to redeploy in a different orientation. We'll keep our retinues as a rear guard as planned. Keep our sword and small arms. And the main bulk of our force really is made up from our 4 unit of spear as shield wall, and our 4 unit of missile. We're good for another month of paying our mercenaries. But I really do not want to be running out of money mid-conflict, so as much as I would like to keep pressing on for +2 monthly migration down here, with the new money we should have coming in from sale of boots and additional man working down there, I think we need to increase taxation, which we don't do from the church, we do from the manor. Let's move that up to 8%. And in the capital, still making a lot of money. Let's increase taxation to 10%. Maybe even 12. Yep. How are we doing in Klein and Null? Fuel. Got a family working at the Woodcutter's Lodge. Let's get a second. And there's plenty of construction for the other available family to be working on. So it looks like the force is split up. So we're going to bring back our missile. We're going to redeploy 3 of our spear here. And deploy 1 on the flank. And we're going to deploy our 2 units of light infantry and footmen to here. Okay. Let's speed up this deployment a little bit. I'm worried that I've lost track of where this secondary force is. Oh, okay. We're just coming down across the valley now. So I think we're probably going to be mostly done with these guys by the time they arrive, but we do have our retinues there in case. And we should pretty much have them coming into missile range. You can see the first volleys going off. Hopefully not shooting our own lads in the back. As the enemy charge towards our shield wall. We need to intercept these troops here. We're going to send both units to cut them off to make sure we're not outflanked. We're going to deploy some of our defensive formations. And then we have a unit broken already. And we're making short work of them. And they're broken, didn't even lose a man. We're going to attack into the rear. We're going to reform up. And we're going to bring our archers over here as well. As we clear up the remainder of the enemy forces. We're rather sorry for those few men. Completely surrounded by our forces. And there we have it. Did lose a few men, but nothing drastic. We'll form them up. And we're getting ready now for the advance of the second unit of mercenaries. And we're going to wipe out these brigands with our retinues. And we're going to slaughter the enemy archers with our own. And already they're running. As arrows fly in around them. Retinues are making short work of the brigands. Completely mismatched heavy infantry versus thugs with batons. And tell our retinues to spread out so they're not so susceptible to archer fire. And we'll continue to pepper these archers until they're completely dead. And in short order they'll be dealt with. I don't think so. And that's a decisive first victory in the battle for Oberweiss, as the last few men of the mercenaries fall. Just a bannerman and an archer left. Brave men. But ultimately, they fought for the wrong side. He's an absolute tank. How many shots is he going to take before he goes down? There we go. And we've actually won. With our enormous army, we have captured Oberweiss. And it is one of our realms. Okay, well, let's do a quick domestic job. So we've got a lot of bodies that need burying here. So let's get some people working at the corpse pits, because that no doubt is not helping our approval. All in all, we seem to be getting on top of the resources situation, and we've got plenty of space for people to be moving in. Trading post is also under construction. And what is the population situation here? Got 138 people. With families, rather. And we've got fish. We have a deep mushroom. Sorry, deep iron and rich mushroom. I wonder what we're producing. Can we see? Here we can. Wow. They've made a lot of money from selling tools. Selling honey. Sold some iron. Do they have lots of tools set aside? 24. So there's going to be a degree of work we need to do here to make sure that everything is set up correctly. And we're certainly going to want to make sure that we have a manor constructed here, so that we can start with some taxation. So that'll be something they already have a manor. I wasn't sure if they did or not. Where is it? It's not hidden in the forest line somewhere. It's not down here, is it? Alright, let's look closely. Not hidden amongst the mushrooms. We've got a church here. Granary, storehouse. It's not inside of the settlement itself. Let's check the surrounding area. Not in that forest. Not around where we were fighting. Can't see it being down here. This rather luxurious valley. Is there really? Limit reached. Am I being blind? I'm not used to seeing the manor without a garrison tower. But I can't see it anywhere. Well, if you can see it, because I can't, please do let me know where that manor is, because they're not much use to me if I can't tax them. Is there a construction site for a manor that hasn't been built? The burgers plot under construction there. Fisherman's hut. Pitching post. It's a mystery. Never mind. Now, we've got 20 days left. We could push on for another conflict. and attack one of our other foes. But I don't think we have the finances, especially with the Royal Tax coming up in under a year. It's always under a year, but in 200 days, to continue to finance, especially these archers. It's, we'd struggle for another 2 months of them. I don't want to completely run out of money mid-conflict, so I think what we're going to do is we are going to disband the really expensive mercenaries. We're going to disband of all of the mercenaries, and we're going to send the retinues to defend Klein Knoll as they were previously, and everyone else can go home. War for the moment is done. We'll be back to it. I imagine there's a fair bit of burying to do here as well. Oh my goodness. They only have fuel for 1 month. They've not been planting trees, have they? And they're running out of food? No, fuel. Oh gosh, everything needs upgrading. The AI has not been doing a very good job here, is it? And the answer to that is no. Without a doubt. Ah, manor. Huzzah. Just not constructed. Let's demolish that. We'll get back to that. So, first things first. Fuel. Where is our woodcutting lodge? Down here. We've got a charcoal kiln here as well. Let's get an additional couple of families working at the charcoal kiln. And let's get some foresters. We're going to need a lot of you because we've cut down most of the forests here. Let's dot them around and we'll just try and have a general reforestation effort. Start with 4. At least we have food. Fuel should be easier to solve. Let's get a woodcutter's lodge and pop it down on the main road here where they've got access to these remaining forests. Let's set that to the very highest level of priority. And I think we're just going to go for the boring old Bamberg smallholders. Because that is going to be the easiest thing we can do to get on top of the situation we have here. Oh my goodness, they're rich. They have lots of regional wealth. We're definitely going to tax that. We're going to tax that hard. So in a much better governed region, such as this one, we're doing okay. Let's get down some charcoal boys. So we can start converting some of that sweet firewood into sweeter still charcoal. And a much better conversion. Gone through quite a few of the wild animals there. Let's make sure that we've got a limit set up. We do have 12 anyway, so that's fine. Still bringing in a reasonable amount of food. Construction under the way, people moving in. That's what I like to see. Sent our troops to the wrong region. It's a good start, isn't it? You can all go back to your homes. Get to work. Doing the things you're meant to be doing. Still getting people moving in down here. How are we doing on the market? Still hopelessly oversubscribed. Let's get a few extra workers. Helps a little bit. And did that Weaver's Workshop ever get built? It did. Let's get a couple of people working there. Depart as well. Doing okay. Forester's huts are going up in Oberweiss. let's get some families working at those. So we can start undoing some of the deforestation that has been done. Looks like we've only got 3 oxen. Where do we have the hitching post? Let's order an ox and upgrade that to a stable. Okay. What a horrible place for a corpse pit. Let's get rid of that. There's a lot of upgrading to be done, but I don't want to start on that until we've dealt with the more immediate issues that we've got. That's all we have time for today, friends. I hope that you found this as relaxing to watch as I found it to make. I would love to hear any suggestions you have for these or other videos. Pop a comment below and I'll read it and respond. And if you enjoyed the video, then why not like and subscribe. If you're still in the mood to chill, join me in another video. As always, know you're appreciated. Until next time, cheerio.